Nick Baldwin for BloodyElbow.com here with one of the best UFC lightweights on the planet. It is Dustin the Diamond Poirier. You're here as a guest fighter for UFC Winnipeg. Got to ask you first off, is this your first time here? And if so, what was your first reaction? Obviously, it's winter, it's December, it's a little chilly here.
It's my first time in Winnipeg. Definitely not my first time in Canada, but yeah, it's cold. It's cold.
Do you like the city? Have you seen much? I know you're not training for a fight, so have you been able to get out a little bit?
Yeah, we went to have a steak dinner last night. It was nice, a real nice restaurant across the street, and I just ate sushi next door, but haven't got too far away from the hotel yet.
Why did they bring you out here?
Why not?
Let's try something new?
Yeah.
Awesome.
For the Q&A, and I requested to come because Robbie's a good friend of mine.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
How has it been with Robbie Lawler no longer at ATT? Has that been strange?
It's different for sure, but we still stay in touch, you know. I talk to him regularly, so yeah, it's weird not seeing him on the mats anymore, but he's still a good buddy of mine.
You're coming off the win over Anthony Pettis. A bit of a strange ending for a great fight, which sort of anticlimactic, but you said right after you still believe that you broke him and that fans shouldn't look too much into the stoppage or into the finish, I should say. Were you happy with the win?
For sure, man. No matter how the fight ended, I was winning the whole fight, but he couldn't continue because of something I did. That's how you win a fight. I mean, I won. No confusion or frustration with me on that part.
No, Pettis has gone down a little bit since he was at the top of the division. He's lost a number of fights. But that in mind, was this the biggest win of your career?
Yeah, it has to be. You know, a former champ, main event fight. Yeah, biggest win of my career.
So I know, correct me if I'm wrong, but leading up to the Pettis fight, I remember you were doing an interview and you said you were getting tired of talking about Eddie Alvarez. Is that true? Did that happen? I could be wrong.
I might have said I don't want to talk about Eddie because I have Pettis to worry about, you know. I mean, I can't talk about another guy, another man who I'm not fighting, you know. I'm sure I was training to fight former world champion in Anthony Pettis, and I had my hands full with him in Virginia, and I knew that, so that's where my focus was. You know, once I sign a contract to fight somebody, I'm not worried about anybody else or what they're doing because I have my own priorities to prepare for the guy I'm fighting. So that's why I didn't want to talk about Eddie. But now that the Pettis fight is out of the way, where the fuck's Eddie?
Well, let me ask you that. Where is he? You know, he said that after the Justin Gaethje fight, a win over you doesn't do much for his career. He's sort of moving on, so to speak.
But he also said that titles and rankings and stuff don't mean anything. So, I mean, it's kind of contradicting.
Right. What would you make of all that? Is that just him not wanting to fight you? Will the fight happen, do you think?
I hope so, man. We'll see. I want it. I know the UFC wants it. It's really up to him.
Robbie Lawler versus Holyfield Dos Anjos. How do you think your former teammate in Lawler and still good friend gets the job done?
I think he goes out there and hurts him, man. Robbie has power in both hands that Dos Anjos hasn't felt, you know, in the welterweight division. He hasn't fought anybody like Robbie yet.
As far as when you would like to fight next, you didn't take all that much damage against Anthony Pettis. You still got the W. Looked really impressive in doing so. You know, do you want a quick turnaround? January, February? You know, when are you looking at?
Nah, I'm kind of more focused towards March, April. Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy the holidays with my family, and you know, I do training camps now, so I'd want at least 8 weeks to prepare to go out to Florida and get ready. But if a big opportunity popped up, you know, I'm steadily training at my own gym in Louisiana, and I got a bunch of buddies getting ready for fights here in January, so I'm in good shape and we're pushing hard, getting better every day. So we'll see, but for me to have a quick turnaround, it's gonna have to be a big opportunity.
Since the Pettis fights, and this might be a silly question, maybe it's quite obvious, but have you gone to the UFC and said, I want to fight Eddie Alvarez?
Of course.
What did you make of his win over Gaethje? Were you impressed? The first man to beat Gaethje, you know, a knockout win. Gaethje had never been knocked out, never lost. Were you impressed? You know,
I was impressed by the performance of both guys. It was a test of will, and it was a fun fight, you know, for the fans to watch. And I'm a fan of fighting, so it was fun. But Eddie's, you know, he's a veteran. I mean, he stuck to a game plan, went to the body, didn't brawl a whole lot, used in and out movement. And like I said 10 times, man, when a guy doesn't move with you and a guy has stationary, you know, footwork, it's not that hard to look like a good striker, you know. Yeah, Eddie would never look like that kind of a boxer against me.
If Alvarez isn't next, who is?
We'll see. You know, rankings and guys sitting out waiting for title shots and not defending their belts make stuff a lot more complicated. So, you know, there's really nobody ahead of me besides Eddie that is available or, you know, would be in the time frame that I want to fight. So if Eddie doesn't take the fight, I guess we're going to have to go towards the back of the top 10 or maybe even top 15. I don't know what's next, but we'll see.
If they offer you like someone like number 13 in the world, I want to say you're top 5 or really close to it, number 6, number 7, right around there. Would you?
I'm not one of these new guys, man, who just started winning fights and got a name for themselves and is talking shit and getting hype behind them. I'm a guy who's been around a long time. My next fight's going to be my 22nd fight with the company. I've been in a couple title eliminators. You know, I've dropped some big fights, but always fought my way back to the top, and that's who I am. You know, I'm not these new guys. I want fights that matter. I'm close to a title shot, and I know it. I'm going to fight for the belt next year.
Will that take one more fight?
Yeah, one more. You know, the stars aligned perfectly. Before this fight with Pettis, I said I'm going to go out there, beat Pettis, and then I'm going to fight the winner of Justin and Eddie, and who I didn't even care who it was. But and then after that fight, I'm going to win and get a title shot. You know, but I don't even know. You said number 13. I'm not even sure who the rankings are right now.
The top of the division has been pretty foggy for a little while ever since Conor McGregor defeated Eddie Alvarez. He has not fought in the UFC since that title win back in November 2016. How frustrating is that as a guy who is on the verge of a title shot yourself? You
know, I didn't really care a whole lot as I was further back on the list, but as I'm winning fights and getting closer and closer, you know, then it starts to affect me. But still, like I said, I'm a fight away from worrying about that. So that's still one more fight away.
Awesome, Dustin. Thank you very much for the time, and enjoy the fights tomorrow night.
Thanks, man.